Hi guys, and welcome back to my channel. If you're new, my name is Carly and welcome to my YouTube family. So today's video is going to be my top best concealers. I've chosen 10 concealers, 5 are drugstore and 5 are high-end. So I wanted to share with you today what are my favorite ones and why. There's kind of a mix of different coverage from more light to full coverage and also different finishes. Some that are a little bit more on the creamier side, a little bit thicker coverage, and some that are more of a liquidy, very lightweight coverage. In one of my previous videos, I did my top 10 foundations, so I wanted to continue that series and do concealers today. If you do like this video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel down below if you're not already. I would love for you to join my YouTube fam. Let's just jump straight into the video. If you'd like to see my top 10 favorite concealers, then please keep watching. Okay, so I'm going to start with drugstore concealers. I do have my top 5 here. In no particular order, the first one here is from Milani. This is the Conceal and Perfect Long Wear Concealer. I really like this one because it is more of a medium coverage, so it's not too heavy, so you can wear it a little bit more natural on the skin, so it just gives that little bit of coverage. I do like to use this one on days when I'm not wearing any foundation. That way I can just apply this to my skin, conceal mostly under my eyes, down the center of the face and any blemishes, and just kind of buff it away with a brush, and it just looks perfect and flawless on the skin. So it's not too heavy looking, but it does just add that little bit of coverage to just make your skin look that little bit more clear. And this one I do use in the shade number 120 Light Vanilla. So I do like to use this on my whole face when I'm more fair, or I do like to use it as a brightening concealer when I have a tan. So definitely one of my favorite concealers from Milani. Next up is my ultimate holy grail drugstore concealer. I've used this one for such a long time and I always find myself going back to it. It is from Colourpop. This is the No Filter Concealer. I just absolutely love the formula of this. It's like in between a liquid and a creamy texture, so it's like the perfect formula for giving really good coverage but not feeling really heavy on the skin. And I really like the color range of this one. I use the shade Light 18, which I find works perfectly when I have more fair skin to use all over my face like I do with the Milani one, or it just brightens under the eyes slightly but it's not too light to use when I have a tan. So I just absolutely love the formula of this. I think it's really similar to the Kylie Skin Cosmetics concealer as well, which I really like, but I think the Colourpop one is obviously more affordable, and it's just hands down been one of my favorite concealers to use. Next up is a recent favorite that I've tried out for a month or two now, and it is from e.l.f. Cosmetics. This is the Hydrating Camo Concealer Satin Finish. This one gives amazing coverage, like it's a really good full coverage concealer. If you are wanting a fuller coverage concealer, I definitely recommend trying this. I use the shade Light Sand, and this is perfect to use more so when I have a tan. It's got a slightly more peachier base than some of my other concealers, which are more of a yellow tone. So this one just kind of evens out underneath my eye area and down the center of the skin. It doesn't brighten too much, so I like to use this one for more natural makeup looks. And it is more of a liquid consistency, but it does have really good coverage. So I do really like this one from e.l.f. Next, I have a concealer here from Makeup Revolution. This is the Conceal and Define Full Coverage Conceal and Contour. And I do have it in a darker shade to contour, so I do love this concealer for contouring. It has a really nice creamy formula that's really easy to blend out on the skin, so it is really good to use to contour your face. And it is meant to be a really good dupe for the Tarte Shape Tape, and I do agree in terms of the coverage. The finish, probably not so much. It's a little bit more of a drier finish under my eyes, but when I do use an eye cream with it, it looks beautiful on the skin, so I do really like this one. I have a couple of shades. I use C5 for more of when I have a tan. It's a little bit more of a peachier tone to correct under the eyes. I also use C2 for more of a brightening concealer, and when I'm more fair skinned, I can use that all over my face as well. So definitely one of my favorite drugstore concealers is this one from Makeup Revolution. And the last concealer I have is an oldie but a goodie. I've used this one for so many years now and I still find myself coming back to it. It is this one here from Maybelline. This is the Fit Me Concealer. I just absolutely love the formula of this one. It's a really nice hydrating creamier finish, so it's more of a medium coverage, but you can definitely build it up to a fuller coverage if you're wanting to just use concealer on your face. I do use the shade number 10 Light when I have more fair skin, and I use the medium shade when I have more of a tan. And I just find this is just one of my go-to concealers. I use this a lot when I do freelancing work on my clients, and I just love the way it looks on the skin. So if you haven't tried this one from Maybelline, I definitely recommend trying it. And before we continue on to high-end concealers, yes, one of my nails has not survived lockdown at the moment. I can't go and get it fixed, but what can you do? It's just gonna have to continue on until I can eventually go get my nails done again. So for high-end concealers, it was really hard to narrow it down to 5 because I do love high-end concealers, but I did manage to do it. So the first one is my ultimate favorite at the moment. I just find myself using this constantly. It is from Fenty Beauty. This is the Pro Filter Instant Retouch Concealer. I use the shade 210 and I just love the formula of this. It's so creamy and so hydrating, and it just gives the perfect amount of coverage. It's definitely not heavy on the skin at all. And I just find it just looks flawless and beautiful on the skin. So this has been my go-to concealer lately when I'm using more of a high-end one, and I've just loved this one for quite a while now. Next up is another concealer I find myself using quite a lot, and it is this one here from Too Faced. This is the Born This Way Multi-Use Sculpting Concealer. I do have a dark shade to use it for contouring because it is a really good contouring concealer as well. But for my everyday concealer, I use the shade Almond. This has just got the most beautiful tone. It's kind of a mix between a peach and a yellow, so it just doesn't look too bright, but it doesn't look too peachy on my skin either. And I can use this when I have a tan or when I'm more fair-skinned, so that's why I really like this one. And it does come in quite a big bottle, so you do get quite a lot of product out of this one. And the wand on this one is quite big, so I find it's really easy just to apply under the eyes and down the center of the face, and you don't need to dip in too many times because you get a lot of product with each swipe. So I do definitely really love this one from Too Faced. Of course, I have to mention this next concealer because it is probably one of the best concealers out there, and it is the Tarte Shape Tape. I went on a run of using just this concealer for such a long time. I couldn't drag myself away from it, and for good reason. It's definitely one of the best concealers on the market in my opinion. It gives such good coverage. Like if you have blemishes on your skin, this will make them disappear. Like you can literally not see anything when you use this concealer. It's that good. And it is also really good for contouring. I find it to be a tiny bit thick, so you have to use like a really small amount because it is full coverage. But my shade I use is light medium when I have more of fair skin, and I also use the shade medium when I'm more tanned. And what can I say? Full coverage, doesn't dry out on the under eyes or anything at all, and it's just an incredible concealer. So if you haven't tried it, you definitely need to go and try the Tarte Shape Tape. This next concealer is my absolute favorite to use when I'm wanting more of a dewy, glowy look to my skin and I'm not using any powder products, and I might not even use foundation. I'm just wanting a really beautiful, natural, healthy skin, and it is this one here from Becca. This is the Aqua Luminous Perfecting Concealer. I use the shade medium when I have a tan, and it matches perfectly to my skin when I can just use this on its own. Even though it looks quite light, it does actually match my tan, and I use the shade light when I'm more fair. This is my absolute favorite concealer to use just to spot conceal areas that I would like to, just to lightly dust over with a brush, and then I go in with bronzer, blush, and I don't worry about using any powder or foundation because I find this kind of sets itself in a way and it just looks beautiful, and it still gives that little bit of a glow to your skin. It's not a dry finish concealer and it's not too thick. It's quite a watery texture, so it just looks like your skin but a little bit more improved. So I definitely love using this Becca concealer for more natural makeup looks. Lastly, I have my favorite OG concealer. This was one of the first concealers I think I ever tried from high end, and it's still one of my favorites to date. It is from NARS. This is the Radiant Creamy Concealer. Pretty sure every makeup artist has mentioned this, and if you haven't tried it yet, you definitely need to try it. It is such a beautiful concealer. Like the name says, it's a very creamy formula. It's not too full coverage though, it's more of a medium coverage. And I just love the way this looks on my skin, paired with the NARS Sheer Glow Foundation. Those two were my go-to face routine for such a long time, and I always got compliments on my skin. It kind of makes me want to go back and use them again, which I probably will. But I've definitely loved using this concealer for such a long time. I use the shade Medium 1 Custard, which is perfect for when I have a tan or when I'm more fair-skinned. I do like concealers that are kind of that in-between shade. They're not too peachy and not too yellow. Definitely one of my all-time favorite concealers is the NARS Radiant Creamy. So those were my top 10 favorite concealers. I really hope you guys enjoyed this video. Let me know in the comments down below what are some of your favorite concealers that you've used, and I'll definitely have to try them out myself as well. Don't forget to give the video a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel down below if you're not already. Let me know what you would like to see in my next top 10 video, if you'd like me to just do it in order and do powders, then bronzers, blush, or if you'd like to see more eye products or lip products first. So let me know down in the comments below. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye.